Back to the phone lines. We'll talk next to Stephen. He's listening in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on WTRU. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, how you doing, Hank?
Doing good. How are you?
I kind of have like a two-part question. The first one is, I was listening to your broadcast yesterday, and just long story short, do you believe that there will be an Antichrist at the end of times, or no Antichrist?
Well,
Yes.
remember that John uses the word Antichrist in his epistles, and he defines Antichrist as anyone who denies that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. And therefore, Antichrist can refer to individuals or institutions that deny that Jesus Christ is God. So we have always had Antichrist with us by the definition that John himself has given us in Holy Scripture.
Okay, I guess like the man of sin then, that talk of like the man of sin, that one main character of the Antichrist and all that.
The idea of a beast, not Antichrist, but a beast is communicated in Revelation. And Paul does talk about a man of sin in his epistles. But the point here is that in Revelation, when the beast is being discussed, the churches are being told that with wisdom and understanding, they can identify the number of the beast and the number of his name. Now, it would be cruel and unusual for John to tell his audience that with wisdom and understanding, they could understand the number of the beast and the number of his name if indeed the beast did not exist in their epoch of time, if indeed he was talking about a 21st century beast. So obviously, the beast that he's talking about, the parody, by the way, of the Lamb in Revelation, is 1st century, not 21st century.
Oh, okay. And also, I was looking at Revelation chapter 3, verse 20, and Acts chapter 15, verse 20, and it talks about not eating things that was given to idols and strangled with blood and stuff like that. So is that like, if the Christian is free to eat anything, does that mean you can't eat that stuff, though? Is that the exception?
It is absolutely true that the believer is free to eat anything, but what is delineated in Scripture and clearly there is that we don't want to involve ourselves with sexual immorality and the eating of food sacrificed to idols. In other words, the kinds of things that will lead us into immorality. So there's nothing wrong with the eating of food that has been sacrificed to idols, but if it is used in conjunction or conjoined with sexual immorality or the leading into sexual immorality, we should abstain. But yes, Jesus made it perfectly clear, unambiguous, emphatic, that it isn't what goes into a man's mouth and out through his body that defiles him. It is that which proceeds from the heart. Who is the Antichrist? For centuries, Christians have speculated about the identity of Antichrist. Likely candidates have included princes and popes of the past as well as potentates and presidents in the present. Rather than joining the sensationalistic game of pin the tail on the Antichrist, Christians need only go to Scripture to find the answer. First, the Apostle John exposed the identity of Antichrist when he wrote, "Who is the liar? Is the man who denies that Jesus is the Christ. Such a man is the Antichrist. He denies the Father and the Son. No one who denies the Son has the Father, and whoever acknowledges the Son has the Father also." In his second epistle, John gave a similar warning. Many deceivers who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh have gone out into the world. Any such person is the deceiver and the Antichrist. Furthermore, St. John taught that all who deny the incarnation, the messianic role, and the deity of Jesus Christ are instances of Antichrist. As such, the term Antichrist refers not only to the apostasy of individuals, but to the apostasy of institutions and ideologies as well. In this sense, institutions such as modern-day cults and world religions, as well as ideologies such as evolutionism and communism, can rightly be considered Antichrist. Finally, in the book of Revelation, St. John identified both an individual and an institution that represent the ultimate manifestation of evil, the archetypal Antichrist. John referred to this archetypal Antichrist as the beast who deceived the inhabitants of the earth. Drawing on Daniel's apocalyptic depiction of evil world powers, John described an emperor in his own epoch of time who arrogantly set himself and his empire against God, violently persecuting the saints and grossly violating the commandments through a long litany of disgusting demonstrations of depravity, not the least of which was his demand to be worshipped as Lord and God. Little children, it is the last hour. And as you've heard that Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have come, by which we know that it is the last hour. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us, but they went out that they might be made manifest that none of them were of us. 1 John chapter 2, verses 18 and 19. Let's go back to the phone lines. We'll talk next to Ernie. He's listening in Missouri. Hi, Ernie.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I have a question. Is the Antichrist going to be Jewish?
You know what John says about Antichrist is anyone who says that Jesus Christ has not come in the flesh is Antichrist. And therefore Antichrist is not only individuals, but institutions that deny that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, that Jesus Christ is, in fact, God in human flesh. So John uses Antichrist not in the book of Revelation, but he uses Antichrist in his epistles, and quite specifically says that who is the liar? It is the man who denies that Jesus Christ is the Christ. Such a man is the Antichrist. He denies the Father and the Son. And he goes on to say that no one who denies the Son has the Father. Whoever acknowledges the Son has the Father also. And then, in his second epistle, warns that many deceivers who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh have gone out into the world. Any such person is Antichrist. It doesn't have to be a Jew, doesn't have to be a Muslim. It can be anyone, Jew, Muslim, or garden variety pagan, that denies that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. That is what Antichrist is.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the apostasy of individuals, of institutions, of ideologies who deny Christ, all are correctly called Antichrist, and therefore we can call modern-day cults and world religions. We can call ideologies like evolution and communism Antichrist. And if you look at the book of Revelation, though John does not use the word Antichrist there, he identifies both an individual and an institution that represent the ultimate personification of evil, the archetypal Antichrist. And he refers to this archetypal Antichrist as a beast who deceived the inhabitants of the earth. And of course, he's drawing on Daniel's apocalyptic depiction of evil that is personified in world powers and describes an emperor in his own epoch who arrogantly sets himself and his empire against God, violently persecuting the saints and grossly violating the commandments through a long litany of disgusting demonstrations of depravity, not the least of which was his demand to be worshipped as Lord and God himself. So remember, Antichrist can be an institution, Antichrist can be an individual in any epoch of time. There were Antichrists in the first century, just as there are Antichrists in the 21st century and in the midst of the growing storm.